Hi, I'm Jim Linzey, and I'd like to talk to you about moral leadership. There are 10 questions I'd like to address regarding my new book. And the first question I'd like to address is, why did I write the book? I wrote the book because there's a definite lack of leadership in America today, and that includes, I think, all of Western civilization. We are in a time of moral decline in America. I think we see it all around us in political realms, in education, entertainment, even in the church world. And I think the average person wants to know how to lead in his or her sphere of influence. And they want to have the right tools to be able to get the job done. And they want to learn to lead their friends, their families, their churches, their followers, wherever they are. And so I've provided some great tools to really help them out, like how to supervise, how to mentor, how to lead, the practical things involved in decision making, leadership communication, and much, much more, including the 9 leadership traits that I expound upon. And I also provide a discourse on the moral foundations of America, including the 10 Commandments, which come from the law of Moses, which is the basis of the American judicial system. A lot of people don't know that. I'll tell you that the judges know that, and they're not talking about it, but it's true. The American judicial system is based on Old Testament law. The Old Testament provides civil law for how to get along in society, how to get along in communal living. The whole concept of violating laws and then paying the fine or doing the time, that's all based on the law of Moses. What qualifies me to write this book on moral leadership? Well, 2 things come to mind. First of all, I was reared in a very moral home, a Christian upbringing. Both of my parents were involved in establishing a church in El Cajon, California. My father, who died 5 years ago in 2010, he was a sailor, got out, got his education, started the church, and then he became a Navy chaplain. My mother, who is now 96 years of age, she is a renowned evangelist and author. So this is my heritage. Secondly, I've been provided with formal education in advanced leadership from the United States Air Force and the United States Army, where I have served as a chaplain for nearly 24 years. I'm now retired. What do I believe are the most essential attributes of a leader? I would say personal morality and integrity. How a person lives his personal life is going to spill over into the work environment, whether it's church leadership, the business world, or military leadership, or anywhere he or she goes to work, or to lead, or to assume a position. Morality and integrity on a personal level is what people are going to see in anybody. And that's what qualifies a person to actually be a leader in any sphere of influence. What is a good example of moral leadership in this country? Well, certainly the Reverend Billy Graham is the outstanding leader. He is the outstanding example. There's not one shred of immorality or scandal in his personal life. Nothing has come between him and his wife. Nothing has rocked his reputation or his character, and that has been seen in his organization, which is impeccable. I would also say that President Ronald Reagan is another outstanding example of a moral leader. There's been no scandals that have rocked his personal life. What would be an example of immoral leadership is something that I am often asked. And I would say that we have all seen examples in the political realm where a president has committed adultery, a CEO has committed fraud, church leaders have been involved in a number of scandals. I think we can look throughout the past 1 and 2 decades to see, and even further, to see leaders who have had tremendous scandals that have been an embarrassment to our nation and to our church. And I think this is highly unfortunate. This should not happen. Certainly not in my country, not in America, not in the America I know that I grew up in. And I'm ashamed of these things. And I think that we can do better. In the church world, a 95% rating or a 90% rating of morality is not acceptable. We have to be setting the example for our country to follow. It's been said that as goes the church, so goes the nation. And if that is true, then we are certainly in trouble because we do have church leaders who have had some tremendous issues. And this ought not be. So we definitely need to have teaching on moral leadership in our country. And that's why I've written this book, to be a combat multiplier, because this book can get further than I can go. I can speak in here or I can speak there, but this book needs to get everywhere to help me get the word out about what moral leadership is all about and to provide the tools to be able to lead well. I do see a need for improved leadership in every realm, including the church. What examples of moral leadership in the business world would I point to that we have? I would certainly say Chick-fil-A. Daniel Cathay has set a standard which a lot of I would say immoral people who do not subscribe to the Judeo-Christian ethic of morality and traditional moral lifestyles, they've come against Chick-fil-A for the stand that he took. But a lot of God-fearing people, a lot of Christians, they have come to his aid and began to purchase his product to help prevent him from suffering economically for taking such a righteous stand. And consequently, all the protesting had come to a stop because the world saw that they could not prevent people of good standing from holding him up in prayer and in business. Won't companies come under attack and be labeled as discriminatory if they adopt biblical or high moral standards? Well, of course. That's to be expected. But there's a price to pay for taking a righteous stand. There's a price to pay for holding up moral virtues in society. And if we do not take a high stand of morality, of moral leadership, traditional American values, the values that made America great, the values upon which our nation was founded, then we will continue to see moral decay and a decline in every facet of our country, militarily, economically, morally, in every way. And we've got to hold up our standards if we expect God to hold us up as a nation. What are my thoughts about leadership in education? Well, I certainly believe that teachers and parents need to take a stand for morality. We need to be teaching, we need to teach our children and our students that there are standards that they need to strive toward. Because without having such goals in life, then students can get discouraged, they can get despondent. If they don't have something to strive for, they could easily fall into promiscuity, drugs, alcohol, anything to find excitement. We need to challenge them. They need to know that they can achieve great things. They need to learn to be rugged individuals that know how to go it alone when the world all around them is going in the wrong direction. It's this rugged individualism that this book is about, taking a strong stand no matter what other people do, not caving in to the peer pressure all around us. Do I see a lack of moral leadership in entertainment? Well, of course. I think that the entertainment industry, it propounds the decline of the family life, the family unit. It encourages promiscuity. It encourages drug and alcohol addiction and abuse. I think that if we withheld our money from the entertainment industry until they raised their standards, they would not be able to afford to continue producing the filth that we often see on the screen today. But this is what my book is all about. It's about giving a vision to leaders so that they would know how to lead in a world of moral decline. Thank you very much. I'm Jim Linzey, and my book is Moral Leadership.